Hey guys, Sandro here from Carcraft Auto Detailing in Melbourne. Today's video is a review on what I believe to be such a great, smart and well thought out product, which is CarPro ImmoLube. So firstly, for those of you who aren't familiar with this product, basically it's a surface lubricant specifically engineered for car detailing, and primarily at its core, it's mostly geared towards being a new breed of both clay lubricant and a wet sanding agent. Claying a vehicle, whether you're using traditional clay or a more modern clay towel, mitt or polyshave block or pad, is such an important step in removing bonded contaminants such as environmental fallout and traffic film buildup, simply for the fact that many of these particles that are bonded to the paint can't be as effectively removed in any other manner. And if left on the vehicle, they will over time begin to permanently etch and compromise your car's paint, as well as limit the quality of finish you can produce when correcting a car's paint. Also, let me just add that due to the bad weather outside, I'm going to be washing and decontaminating this test panel indoors. So obviously, I'm not going to be pressure rinsing and foaming the panel as it should be for both a safer and more effective clean. So for video purposes, I'm just going to slightly adapt the decontamination steps to suit my indoor environment. But I do have many videos that you can have a look at that show how these steps should be performed ideally. Now, there's just so many clay lubricants out there on the market today that more or less do a great job at providing a safer clay barring experience in relation to minimizing the marring and scratches that claying a vehicle generally creates. But overall, any good detailer will agree that claying a vehicle should always be followed at the very least with a light polishing step of the paint, as no matter how careful or gentle you might be in claying your car's paint, there will almost certainly be some level of marring and light scratches left behind. Now, if some of you guys have seen a few of my detailing videos, you'll know that I'm quite big on decontamination and residue control before and during the paint correction process. Basically, it's all about eliminating as much as possible of anything that stands between my polishing pad and the paint. This is why claying, iron and tar removal and a deep, thorough wash of the vehicle is so vital. Basically, it removes not only the vast majority of environmental fallout and traffic contaminants, but also greatly aids in removing or at least reducing the amount of any existing waxes or sealants, which ultimately greatly slow down the paint compounding and polishing steps by gunking up your machine pads and altering the effectiveness of your products, as well as potentially limiting the quality of the finish. It sometimes takes a product like ImmoLube to make you stop and reevaluate the way you do things. And for me, detailing has always been an ever-evolving process. If I take a step back over 20 years ago when I first tried a clay bar, I was told to just use water, which honestly does work, in that it does provide enough slip to generally keep the clay moving and do its job. Fast forward 5 years and I switched to using my car wash detergent, as I found it provided better lubrication than water alone, with less tackiness and grip, producing a safer finish on the paint. Fast forward another 5 years or so and I began using more dedicated clay lubricants. Why? Because firstly, as certain car paints started to become softer, I began to notice the marring impact that clay was having on those paints. And secondly, as my detailing eye became more aware of even minor defects, I could more clearly observe the damage the clay was inducing, and I could clearly see that a clay lubricant with certain added polymers to create more slip, glide and lubrication was being noticeably less harsh, especially on the softer paint types. However, this does create another problem, which brings me back to residue control. After the vehicle has been deep cleaned with detergents and stripped with chemicals, all of which are primarily used to get the paint as bare as possible prior to polishing, it's really not the best idea to then go and use a product with strong bonding polymers, as most clay lubricants contain, as these polymers, in my experience, will not simply wash or rinse off, or even be completely removed with a final IPA wipe down, and ultimately they will be present when you begin polishing the paint. And as I stated before, they will slow and negatively alter your paint correction results. So my dilemma was always, do I want a safer claying result which in itself does create less paint correction work? Or do I just deal with these polymers slowing me down when polishing? And I generally choose the safer claying option. But now I don't need to make that choice anymore. And that finally brings me back to ImmoLube and makes me think, why hasn't anyone thought of this before? I've been using it quite frequently over the last few months, and I have to say that there really is no going back for me to my past clay lubricants. What makes ImmoLube such a unique and innovative product is as much about what it doesn't contain as it is about what it does. There is no polymers or gloss enhancers in its chemistry, as you would find in almost all clay lubricants or quick detailers and waterless wash products, which are all frequently used as clay lubricants as well. And that is what really separates ImmoLube clay lubricant from the others, and also what makes it such a smart product. Instead of using these hard to remove gloss enhancers and polymers, it uses solvents and surfactants to reduce the friction between the clay and the cast paint to create an amazing lubrication and a superior claying experience. But it doesn't end there. What I've also found by using ImmoLube as opposed to my other clay lubes is that it also helps to continue cleaning the paint with its unique chemistry of mold solvents and cleaning agents that actually further help decontaminate the paint. And just as important is the honest evaluation it gives you of the paint. As well as adding gloss and smoothness to the paint, most polymer-based clay lubricants will also hide and fill minor scratches that will deceive you into believing that the claying process is creating less marring and scratching than it really is, as well as displaying the paint to be in an overall better condition than it really is, which can be quite a frustrating thing when you begin polishing to only discover that you're actually dealing with a more severely damaged paint. But a simple test of running your hand over the paint after using ImmoLube clearly shows that the surface friction is stronger and bare, which is a direct reflection of its cleaning action and lack of residue left behind, as opposed to the other standard clay lubes, which leave the paint feeling smooth and full of polymers that you're going to have to remove once again as you begin correcting the paint. Another great thing about it is its consistency. That has much more body and a better clinging ability, so you really don't need to use anywhere near as much as you would with your more watery clay lubes. And as you begin to clay with it on the surface, it seems to activate the ingredients, creating a light lather of lubrication as you go. So a litre of ImmoLube at about $25 actually goes a really long way, making it very cost effective. And its great smell doesn't hurt either, adding a little more pleasure to the claying process. But most important of all is the safe claying experience it provides that in real world testing has been as safe, if not safer, than any past lubricant I've used. And quite a few side-by-side comparisons have confirmed this. If you're used to using clay lubricants with polymers to create slip and reduce friction, ImmoLube will act and feel quite different, more like an oil and detergent. But as I stated, if you judge it on the results and the vast benefits it provides, I guarantee that you'll never look back. I also want to say that many clay bars are labelled with specific clay lubes that should be used for that particular clay bar, and some even say water is fine to use. I can't begin to tell you how many different clay bars with different clay lubes I've used in my time, and all I can say is that although there are different grades and quality levels of clay bars, they all work with water, soapy water, and just about any clay lube. So don't think that you have to use the manufacturer's recommendation or believe that just because it says you can use it with water, that clay bar is somehow safer with water than any other equivalent clay. I do understand that it's hard sometimes to distinguish what label information is important on a product as opposed to what is just marketing hype and sales driven. But I do hope that some of these videos can help you guys out there in that respect. There are just so many detailing products released on the market every month that are nothing more than a different version of an existing product. So it's important, I think, to give a little credit to those brands and manufacturers that push the envelope and question why things are done a certain way and how they can be done better. ImmoLube is a clear example of someone thinking outside the box and being innovative rather than just following the crowd. and I really respect and appreciate that. I've never been one to simply accept that what I've been told to do is how it should be done, especially when it comes to detailing. I'm always experimenting and trialing new methods and products. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's all about what's going to make me a better, more efficient and effective detailer. And products like this are a definite step in the right direction. I'll lastly add that I've more recently been testing ImmoLube's wet sanding abilities, and so far I can say that on thinner and softer paints that really need a more gentle approach, it's been a great aid to reduce and prolong the severity of both machine and hand block sanding. And just over the last week or so, I've also been trialling it with my compounds and polishes, giving the pads a quick spritz. And although it's just at a testing stage for me so far, I'm really excited to see how this product could potentially be quite a game changer, in that it seems to have the ability to fine-tune polishes, in that it can extend my machine polishing time, as well as counteract and minimize dusting on hotter days, and also reduce some of the pad and product's aggression like no other pad primer or water spritz testing has done before. But like I said, it's just still early days for me, and I don't like jumping the gun until I've really thoroughly tested a product. I really hope you guys found this video useful. Please like, comment and subscribe to show your support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.